Welcome back, and to know more at the visit of Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahleb to the Equatorial Guinea on the first conference on Ebola, we are joined in the studio by Dr. Mejdi Bedran, Professor of Allergy and Immunology. Hello, sir, and welcome to our show.
Hello.
Sir, how do you see the significance of the visit of Prime Minister Ibrahim Mahleb to Equatorial Guinea on the first Ebola conference entitled Helping Africans in Ebola Recovery and Reconstruction?
It is very important for us and for Africa, and we have to understand that not only Ebola is just an infectious disease or epidemic. We are afraid of Ebola. The whole world must be afraid of Ebola because it can be used as a biological weapon. So terrorism in the future may be they are using viruses or microbes. So we have to stop this epidemic, and we have to get lessons, and we have to help the Africans, all the African countries, to be ready to fight any epidemic like Ebola in the future.
Mm-hmm. Sir, how does the visit has the significance of such a visit by the Prime Minister, where Egypt presents efforts in the health sector? How do you see this?
Yes, we have to participate in such conferences. We have to give our experience. We have to give as we can. We can give medicine. We can give experts. We can give a lot of ideas. We can give new strategies. We can give assistance in the airport or the borders or the early investigations of the Ebola epidemic.
Sir, do you believe that the importance of such a visit, that we are showing Africa we're not only interested in the economic level only, we are also looking for the healthcare and
yes,
social
all the fields we have to participate, economic, and also in the future we are aiming to make Cairo as a capital for medical tourism. You can advise all the African countries to send their patients to Egypt like that. If we give some participation, and if we give some preparations and the full assistance for such countries.
Sir, how can we benefit Africa in the healthcare, and what can Egypt present to this continent, and what can Africa give us instead?
We can give expert, we can give financial support if we can give technical support, we can give also media, we can give mass media, we can give information, we can give health education programs, we can give also covering of the area with nurses, with technicians like that.
Mm-hmm. What is the role of Egypt in fighting Ebola, and how this effect is seen in Africa?
We participated in the campaigns against Ebola by volunteers, by doctors, by technicians, by now they are giving a small strategy like that, a quick program to be applied in such countries with 3 languages.
Okay. A pharmaceutical forum with the participation of major Egyptian companies, how could it boost the pharmaceutical sector in the African market?
Still, this African markets are like virgin markets for us. We need to invade, we need to invest, we need to expand our sales of all the pharmaceutical productions in these areas.
Sir, almost 1 year now since the outbreak of this deadly virus, Ebola. How do you see the development achieved in combating this deadly virus?
We are succeeding. If you look for the...
Can you define we? Who are we?
All of us, all the world and the World Health Organization, and also we participated. So if you look for the fatalities now, the fatalities at the beginning of the epidemic was 90%. Today, it became 41. So now the whole world recorded 27,679. The fatalities is 11,276. So the fatality will be 40%, decreased from 90. 90 was too much at the beginning of the epidemic. If you look only, the cases will be in Guinea. Guinea until just yesterday, the recorded cases 3,762. The fatalities 2,500. Sierra Leone 13,000. Fatality 3,900. Liberia 10,000. 666 the fatalities, 4,800. Italy, 1 case, no deaths. United Kingdom, 1 case, no deaths. Nigeria, 20 fatalities are 8. Spain, 1, no deaths. Senegal, 1, no deaths. United States, 4, 1 died. Mali, 4, 8, 6 died. So the majorities are in Africa. But if you compare this to the previous epidemics of Ebola, at the beginning it was very spreading, it was very dangerous, it is spreading too much quickly, the fatalities are high, but now we are going to decrease the number and decrease also the fatalities, and now we have, if we, for example, 11,000 died, we have 16,000 living. This group or these people will live, they have immunity, they have experience, they can give us experience, they can teach others what happened to them, and also the investigations prove that these people will have immunity at least 10 years in the future.
They're not going to be affected one more time with this virus.
With the same virus, they are immune for 10 years.
10 years only?
10 years, until now. Until now. Maybe it will be forever, we don't know.
Sir, can you explain for us what this kind of Ebola virus?
It is a virus. It came to the human population through contact with bats, with monkeys. We are not sure, but came from animal environment. It entered the population, enters the blood, especially people who are in contact with bush meat, who are eating this kind of meat. Also, who are in contact with, especially the health sectors, health people, health workers. They are in contact with diseased people. At the beginning, they have no experience, they have nothing in their brain. What are they doing? What are they dealing with? They have no information about the disease. And this was the first mistake. They have no health education. They don't know that there is epidemic spreading. That's why it spread like that. Also, the infrastructure and the health structure, the health facilities in these countries is very low, very deteriorating. So they need assistance from the World Health Organization and from us. Also, the cultural views or cultural beliefs in this area, sometimes they are afraid to go to the hospital. Sometimes the hospital is not present. And if the hospital is present, they are afraid to go because they say they have bad experience with it. They say, if you go, the disease is there, the virus is there, the virus will kill you if you go there. So they are afraid to go, and some people died in the hospital, so they prefer to go to herbal physicians or anyone who will give them any kind of herbal treatment. For them, it is better, much better than the treatment in the hospital. Also, the problem also, the feminine sector, the females usually will serve the family, will serve the patient, especially the nurse or the housewives, usually reserve the diseased people who will be in contact, in touch of the diseased patients. That's why at least 60% of the fatalities were in the women sector. Also, we discovered that the rate of spreading is paralleling to the illiteracy. So the more there is ignorance, the more will be infections, the more will be fatalities. We have got a lot of experience and we've got a lot of lessons from this epidemic. Number one, health education is very important. Health education was too late to spread in these three countries. Number two, if we want to use health education, don't use the Facebook and Twitter for these people. You have to use the radio. Number one, you have to use personal contact. You have to visit these people, sit with them, explain for them, teach them how to wash their hands, how to take care of their bodies, and how to be far away from secretion, how to be far away from the dead bodies. Don't touch them. Don't comb their hair after they die like that. Also, AIDS are killing a lot of people. We have now at least 1.3 million die of HIV each year in Africa. And also we have a great trouble, a great crisis of orphans. Orphans in sub-Saharan Africa, 34 million person, 34 million child, less than 18, 11 million only because of AIDS. A lot of viral disease, a lot of microbes, a lot of epidemics still killing these people of Africa, and they are 1.1 billion So I think the whole world, and especially the United Nations, the World Health Organization, still has to give more respect and more interest and more care of such victims.
Sir, quickly, because we're running out of time, why Ebola is considered until this moment the most dangerous virus?
Because it is bloody, number one, because it was killing in a high rate, 90%, because it is using the ignorance of the people. But if you vaccinate the people with the health education, you will stop it, and it will not become so quick as the beginning of it. And now don't like people to become afraid. Very nice view. If you look at 41%, we succeeded. We succeeded to decrease the fatality from 90% to 41. This is new.
Yeah.
So we still have a nice hope.
So you believe there is progress in this virus? At the end, we can eliminate this virus?
Until we didn't reach to the terrorist gangs.
Yeah.
We succeeded before to do polio eradication in the whole world. So one day, I hope soon, 2 or 3 years, we'll stop it. But we need vaccines. Still, vaccines need money, and still, vaccines. Even we need a lot of hundreds, thousands of vaccines to give to these people.
So funding is the most important thing in fighting this deadly virus. Dr. Mejdى Bedran, Professor of Allergy and Immunology, thank you for joining us, and welcome once again to Africa Today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this brings us to the end of our show. I'm Dina Mamdouh. Please stay tuned.